Hi everyone, this is CricketSong with Your Inner Wisdom, and you're watching another episode of Practical Witchcraft. In this episode, we're going to be doing a spell or a hex to break up a couple. So let's get on over to the altar and get witching. So you come to your altar in your altered state of consciousness, that space, that mindset where you are ready to do your magical workings, casting your spells, doing your magic, whatever. However you get into that altered state of consciousness, you do that. Now, for the sake of this demonstration, we're going to say I already did that. I'm already in my altered state of consciousness, that place in my head where I'm ready to manifest and do my magic. So I come to my altar, and I am going to clear my altar space of these feathers so I have place to work my magic. Move this over. And the first thing I do is I light my candles. And these candles are the representation of the spiritual energies and entities that I work with when I do my magic. So that may be different for you. You may have different candles, different colors, but we're showing you what I do. So I light the red candle and I do my evocation for the divine feminine or the primordial feminine. I light the black candle for the primordial masculine or the divine masculine. And I light the white candle for spirit or the spiritual energies and entities that I work with, my spiritual court. The red symbolizes blood, the black flesh, and the white bone. So I evoked them, called them, summoned them into my sacred space, into my at my altar. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to light my incense. And if you've been watching any of these videos, you know I light incense because incense plays a large role in my witchcraft. So I'm going to light this charcoal disc because I've done a blended incense mix that we're going to use. Phew. So we're going to light this. And if you're interested in how I crafted the incense that I'm going to use today, you can watch the first episode in this series because I do a step-by-step how I actually choose the herbs that I use, because it's a loose incense mix that I use, that I'm going to use, that I generally use. So for understanding how I choose them, the correspondences, the whole process, watch that first episode because I really go into detail. I'm not going to go into detail today. I'm just going to show you the mix that I'm using, which is this mix here. And I'll tell you what's in that. I believe it's patchouli, mullein, and wormwood. That's what this incense mix is. That's the mix we're going to use today. So we need to light this. It's taking a little time. I'm going to put it in here. It's not happy. Sometimes these discs work really well, other times it takes forever to get them to catch. Okay. I would do the spell that we're going to do on a dark moon on a Tuesday. And basically what we're doing is we're making a, I guess it's called a sour jar. I never realized that's what it was called. But when I was talking to someone about it, they're like, oh, you're doing a sour jar. I'm just doing what I feel called to do, and apparently this is what it's called. It's basically, I'm using a jar, and I like doing jars. If you look on my channel, I've done bottles or jars for specific purposes, putting things inside that correspond with my intention, and that's what I'm doing today. I just don't have, the problem with actually doing bottles is sometimes you can't find a neck opening large enough to fit the items in. So I'm going to use this jar. It's a spice jar, Spice Island spice jar. It's glass. I like glass better than plastic, but if I use what I got. So if plastic is all I had, then I'd use plastic. But I'm going to use this glass jar. Any type of jar that you have, or bottle. I wish I had a bottle, but like I said, it's difficult to find bottles with a wide enough neck to put the things in that I want to put in. So I'm going to put some incense, some of the herbs to get the incense going, and then I'm going to open the jar and I'm going to put it on top of the pentacle. I am going to light a candle. I wanted to use a black candle, and I thought I had a black candle. Unfortunately, I don't have a black candle. So I am going to use a tea light. Now, you can dress the tea light if you want. I am not. I am actually using the tea light not necessarily as the actual, actually, you know what? I'm not going to use the tea light. Now that I'm thinking of it, I want to use a white candle because I'm going to use the wax from the candle to drip on top of the cover when I am done putting all the items in it. And I'm not sure how well the tea light wax is going to work. So it might work, but I will pull a candle like this because I know this will work. So we'll try both. That way we can see how they work. So as I was saying, I'm not necessarily doing a candle magic spell, but I'm using the wax to seal the jar or the bottle, and I'm actually using it as a sort of timer. And again, I would prefer these to be black, either a black tea light or a black chime candle, not white. But unfortunately, as I said, I don't have black, so you use what you got, and I'm going to use white. Okay, so the intention is to break up a couple. Now, for this demonstration, we're going to say that the couple is married. And if they're not married and it's a couple you want to break up that are just together, they're not married, you can reword the spell to cater to the couple's situation. But for this demonstration, we're going to say that they're married. Okay, so in this particular jar, we're going to need some items. The first item is going to be pepper. I am going to use black pepper and red pepper. So I have some black pepper and some, where's that red pepper? Oh, it's already out here. Some black pepper and some red pepper. So I'm going to put that in. I'm going to put some black pepper. And, oh, I should have lit the candle. So I'm going to light the candles. I'd like to light them from the flame of the spirit. Should have lit this before I added the pepper. Like I said, we're going to try the tea light because I want to see how this works. So I wouldn't light both of these, I would only light one of these, right? So let's put some more incense. So black pepper, and I got some red pepper. Add those in. I'm going to add some needles and pins. Not that. Not that. Glass. Do I want to add glass? Oh, I do. I'm going to add glass. I'm going to add pieces of glass. So be careful when you're handling glass. You don't want to cut yourself. That piece isn't worth it. Glass. Porcupine quills would work well too. So I have some nails, some pins, needle, and needle pins. Okay, add some of those. And piece of poop from my cat's litter box. Gonna add a piece of poop. And then we're going to fill it with vinegar. Before I fill it all the way, I am going to take a piece of paper and a pen, and I am going to fold it in half, right? And I'm going to write the name of the couple. One person's name on each side here of the paper. So we're going to pretend one is Tom, the guy's name is Tom, and we're going to say the other person's name is Jane. Ideally, you want to write their full name, anything that you can, full name, birth date, so you know who they are, but this is just an example of what we're doing. So Tom and Jane, you want to write it on the same piece of paper and then rip it in half and then put both pieces of paper with their names on it, or if you have pictures, that would even be better. If you have hair, that would be great. You want to put it in, and then I'm going to fill the rest up with the vinegar. And this is just distilled white vinegar. You could put lemon in there too if you want, anything to sour. And then I'm going to seal it, and I'm going to say the spell. I'm going to say the incantation. Okay, and the incantation is, I craft this jar, my trap is laid. Pins and needles, wounds are made. No chance to heal, a deed is done. You seek forgiveness, but there is none. These sharp nails do prod and poke. There is no love, there is no hope. and I add this smelly shit, the two of you will now split. This glass breaks your marriage bed. Vinegar sours all words said. My sour jar will now enforce your future holds only divorce. So then I'm going to say, so mote it be, as I will it, so mote it be. I'm going to seal the spell. Now I'm going to raise energy. And in my mind, I'm going to visualize the couple yelling and screaming and fighting. So then I might want to chant something like split or divorce or fighting or breaking up, whatever, break up, break up, break up. Again, you start slow and low and you build to high and loud. Break up, 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 break up. Again, seal it. You're sending the energy to the jar. So then, as I said, after everything, you've done the incantation, you raised energy, you put everything in here. We want to see if this would actually, oh, this actually would work nicely. You want to seal the jar with the wax. And actually, I'm going to do this over this paper towel because I don't want the wax getting stuck in my cauldron. So we're going to do it over here. So actually this works okay, but I actually like using this candle better. I think it gives a better pour of the wax. I feel like it gives more control. And again, if this was a black candle, it would be black wax sealing it, which I like better. But as I told you, I thought I had black candles, and come to find out I don't have any. So you just finish, and until you feel like you have enough of the wax on the cover to seal it in so nothing will leak, because you really don't want this jar leaking anywhere. It's going to stink. Okay, so then what I would do, make sure the incense is going. I would put the jar on top of the pentacle on my altar, and I would ask the spiritual entities that I evoked into my circle to imbue this with my intention, to reinforce, to send their energies, to aid my intention to be manifested. I would then either bury this somewhere on my property or hide it somewhere in my property, somewhere where if I need to, I can continue to feed it energy if it's necessary. Once the intention is done, once the couple has broken up, I could either get rid of the jar, like bury it and forget about it, or I could break the jar. Honestly, for me personally, I would bury it somewhere and just forget about it and let my spell take its course and keep it buried, because that for me, my belief is that that would keep the couple broken up. The concern is that if you break the jar and release the spell, that then the couple might reunite. So I don't want that. I want them to be broken up, unless in the future I change my mind and I want them to come together, then I could break it and do a spell to, you know, bring them back together. But I would go and bury this somewhere, like I did with the witch's bottle. You can go back and watch that video to see, you know, how I would bury that. I'm not going to show you me burying this, because actually I'm not using this to break up Tom and Jane, whoever it is I wrote on the paper, but this is for the demonstration of this purpose. I would keep this here until I feel that the candles have burned down, or that I feel it is complete. I would thank everyone that has worked with me, my beloved dead, the ancestors, the mighty ones, the spirit allies. I would ensure that their offerings are still acceptable, refresh them if needed, give them a new offering if they so ask. And that's it. I would extinguish the candles and I would be done. Until next time, I love you. Blessed be.